What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and in this video we're going to be doing a Blox fruits tier list about all of the fruits. But before we get into this video, the idea I got this from was simply Zeke. Go check out his channel. I'll put his link in the description below. And he basically gave me the idea to do a tier list that I've never done a tier list before, so this is just going off of my opinion. Don't get mad at me in the comments, and let's get into the video. First off, let's start with barrier. I think barrier would go into like C. It's not that good for grinding, but it's also pretty decent for like running away in PvP. Very good for that, honestly. And next fruit is falcon. Yeah, hold up. Yeah, I'm just gonna put falcon in D because, it's falcon. I'm putting it in D tier. Bomb, since it got a rework, it's actually like, it's better now, so I'm gonna put it in C along with, actually, we put it at top of C because it's actually pretty decent for grinding and not as well as good as PvP, but it's also, pretty decent for grinding. Buddha for PvP and grinding, so I'm gonna put it at the top of S tier because it's not the very best fruit, but it's a very, very good fruit for doing really anything. Chop fruit, since you're immune to sword attacks, any sword attack in the game, since you're immune to it, I think this is actually a very good fruit. So I'm gonna put it at the end of B tier, but right now it's at the top of it because really there's nothing else to put there. Control is a pretty decent fruit. It's very good for comboing in PvP, but for doing for doing PvE, I wouldn't say it's really that good. So I'm gonna put it. Let's see. I'll put it at the front of C tier. Don't hate in the comments, please. All right. Next fruit is the dark fruit. Dark fruit is actually pretty good for grinding if you didn't know, because since it's a Logia, it has very high potential in grinding, and a lot of its moves are AoE, but pretty sure some of the moves aren't that AoE. And I'd say it's pretty good for PvP as well, so I'll put it in front of Chop. Actually, I'll put it right behind Control and C tier. Diamond, yeah, we don't need to talk about that. Alright, next fruit is Door. Door is a very good fruit for like moving around generally, and since the Blox fruits map is so big, I would say that this is a very good fruit. Even though it's not good for grinding or PvE, it's very good for like, you could like run with it, or you could just teleport really anywhere you want. A lot of YouTubers use this fruit to get around very fast besides the light fruit, but I would say this fruit is actually very good. Next fruit is Dough. Dough is very good for, actually, I'm gonna say this is Unawakened Dough. Unawakened Dough is very good for PvE, and I would say it's pretty good for comboing in PvP. Awakened, though, of course, has its specs and is much better than Unawakened, like every other fruit is. But I would have to put this up right behind Buddha because Buddha is just generally superior than Dough. The next fruit we're gonna be doing is Awakened Dough. So let's just say Awakened Dough is just there. Let's just say that because I really don't know how to add another slot. So I would have to put Awakened Dough like at in the front of S plus because Awakened Dough is very good for grinding and PvE like a lot of other fruits are. But it just has its specs. It's just better. I think it just has a better gaming chair. Alright, moving on, we have the flame fruit. The flame fruit is pretty decent for grinding and PvP, but I want to say it's that good. I'm gonna say that its Logia is really carrying right here. Since it's not awakened, I would have to say it would have to go like above Chop in B tier. The next fruit is the gravity fruit. I think the gravity fruit is like not that good because there's a lot of combos that can be used with it, but I wouldn't say it's very, that good for PvE. So this is based on if it's good for PvE and PvP, so I'm gonna have to put this right above Flame. Alright, now we're moving on to the ice fruit, Unawakened. I'm just gonna have to put ice right behind Door in A tier because Ice Unawakened Ice 2 is very good for combos and PvE because of its freezing abilities. It can, and since it's a Logia, it's very good for both of those. It won't really matter in PvP, but unless they have like hockey or not, unless you're like in first C, but it's very good for PvP and PvE. Moving on to Kilo, putting that at S tier. It's the best fruit in the game. If we're gonna be honest, I think I'm gonna have to put Kilo at like D tier. Don't hate in the comments. I know it's like the best fruit in the game. Like honestly, just spit wise, but I'm gonna have to put it in D tier because you're just fat. Coming in with Leopard, putting that at D tier. That is the most annoying fruit in the game. All right, if everyone's gonna be rude, if everyone's trying to be rude right now, I'm gonna have to put Leopard right above this invisible part, this invisible awakened doe, and because Leopard is very annoying for everything. There's a lot of videos with people doing level 1 to 2,400 quote unquote max level with this fruit. So I would say it's very good for that amount of stuff. And for PvP, it's just the most annoying fruit there is. All right, coming in at next, we have the Unawakened Light Fruit. Unawakened Light Fruit in first C, it is like the best fruit for grinding because of its logia, of its moves, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So I'm gonna have to put this right in front of Gravity. All right, coming in with Paw. Paw Fruit has very good ranged abilities, but I would really have to say it's not that good for PvP. I mean, not PvP, PvE, but PvP. It can whip up some very nasty combos. So I'm gonna put that at the very top of C tier. Now we have Phoenix Fruit. I actually made a part one of level going from a noob to pro with Phoenix Fruit, with permanent Phoenix, of course. So if you guys want to see more parts of that, make sure to subscribe and comment down below if you want to see more. And I'm gonna have to put Unawakened right behind Light because since it only has two attacking moves, it's not really that good for PvE or PvP because I mean some people can like get nasty combos with it, but mostly it's not really that good for PvE. Alright, coming in at next is Unawakened Quake. I'd say Unawakened Quake is, not that good for PvE, but it's actually pretty decent for PvP because of its shockwave moves and all. It's like it has a huge AoV distance, including the big waves. So I'm gonna have to put that in front of Phoenix right there. Don't Please don't get mad at me in the comments. Next fruit coming in with revives because of it's not. I've tried this out before for PvE. It's really not that good, and for PvP, I wouldn't say that it's really that good. So I'm gonna put it at the very back of C tier. All right, next fruit is Unawakened Rumble. Unawakened Rumble is what happened? Unawakened Rumble is actually a pretty decent fruit for grinding and PvP. I've seen people like do very cool combos with this, so I'm gonna have to put this at the back of A tier. Next fruit is Unawakened Sand. Unawakened Sand is very good for PvE since it's a Logia fruit, I'm pretty sure. And since it has a lot of like long range abilities, I would have to say that it's pretty good fruit. So I'm gonna put it right above Chop. All right, the next fruit we're coming in with Shadow. There is no Awakened version Shadow, so just Shadow. Shadow is very good for PvE because I've seen a lot of people grind with it, and the videos turned out like really cool because of how it's being used and in what ways it can be helpful. And I've been random killed with this fruit so many times. So I'm gonna have to put this at the very front of B tier. All right, coming in with Unawakened Smoke. There is no awakened version of Smoke, and I just realized that. So Smoke is a Logia type, and it's Smoker's fruit. So basically, it has a lot of like kind of AOE moves. So it's very good in the first C. It used to be the best fruit in the game a long time back, but now it's got its reworks and stuff. And the flying bomber move is like carrying it right now because that move is so good for PVE. So I'm gonna have to put this right behind Phoenix. Coming in with the Soul Fruit. The Soul Fruit is very good for PvP and PvE because of its click abilities, since it does poison damage, healing damage, and just stunning damage. It's a very good fruit for like everything basically. I'm gonna have to put this right. Let's see, right at the right, yeah, at the front of A tier. Coming in with Spike. Spike is actually, if y'all didn't know, Spike is like not that good for grinding, but also pretty decent for grinding. So I'm gonna put this at the front of D tier. Yeah, not that good, not that bad. Spin is trash. Spring, I've seen people use this fruit. Not really that good for PvP or PvE, so I'm gonna have to put this right in front of Spin. Alright, last unawakened fruit is String. String is actually kind of not that good for PvP or PvE because of its like not that high damaging moves. All of its moves do some decent damage, but not as much as the awakened version, so I'm gonna have to put this right behind Smoke. Actually, in front of Smoke. Alright, the next fruit in the awakened tier, the first fruit in the awakened tier actually, is Quake. Awakened Quake is actually very good because of its spectral moves. It has a lot of like a big AoE range of moves because of its last move. Literally summons 4 waves in one direction coming all to the same spot. The only way to escape it is by jumping up. But if you already used some of your sky jumps and you were already falling at that point, then there's no way to escape it. Also because of its stunning abilities. So I'll have to put this right. Let's see. I'd have to put this at the end of A tier. Alright, the next fruit we have here is Awakened Flame. Awakened Flame is better than normal Flame. I mean, it's kind of the same thing, but I'm pretty sure the moves do some little higher damage, and just the moves look better. Very good for PvP, and basically the same amount of decency as PvE is Unawakened, so I'm gonna have to put this right in front of, Unawakened Flame. Next fruit is Awakened Ice. Awakened Ice is very good because of how much bigger the moves has gotten, and since it still has this stunning ability, the moves has so much more range, and it can stun them from like a whole lot further, which is very good. So I'm gonna have to put this right in front of Soul. Sorry, Soul, I didn't mean it. Awakened Dark is just like the normal Dark, but it has a lot more AoE moves because of it's just be it's still a Logia, so I would say it's very good. But because of some of its moves, I'm gonna have to put it right above Unawakened Dark, just like I did with Flame. Awaken Light, if you ever had this in the first C, you would get to second C immediately. All of its moves have buffed, and in the new update, the second, not the flight move, but the second move is getting a rework. So this Awaken Light is gonna be OP. So I'm gonna have to put this right above Shadow. Our next awakened fruit is Awakened String. Awakened String can whip up some nasty combos like some other fruits that I'm gonna be showing here, and it's a very good fruit for PvP, and sometimes it's pretty decent for PvE. So I'm gonna have to put this right above, yeah, Phoenix, because Quake is way better than that. Now we have Awaken Rumble. Awaken Rumble is actually a very good fruit for PvP. A lot of people whip up more combos than the normal Rumble. So I'm going to have to put this right above, normal Rumble like I did with Dark and Flame. I didn't even notice this, but Venom is here. It's not, you can't awaken Venom. I totally didn't even see this. So I'm going to have to put Venom. See, Venom is a very good fruit for PvP and PvE, mostly for PvE, because grinding with this fruit is literally so good. A lot of people do it, and they're like, most of their videos get to like max level. So I'm gonna have to put this up. Actually, let's just call this Awakened Doe, and I'm gonna put it up there. And I'm gonna put this back there while I'm at it. Next, what we have is Awakened Magma. Awakened Magma is just like Venom, but a little bit worse because of its high cooldown moves. So I'm gonna have to put this at the top of S tier unless one of these are better. And now we have Awakened Buddha. Awakened Buddha is the best fruit in the game. There's nothing that can stop it. There is nothing in the world. Not even a leopard can stop this thing. This is the best fruit in the game. Alright, now we have Awakened Sand. Awakened Sand is pretty decent. It's like the normal sand. So I'm gonna put this, let's see. I'll put this right above Flame. So now the flames are apart. How sad. Last but not least, Awakened Phoenix. Phoenix can whip up so many more combos. It's crazy. Awakened Phoenix, there's literally its regeneration move when it's not awakened does no damage, but now it does damage, and both of its moves got upgraded. And I think there's like three attacking moves now. I don't know. Tell me if I'm wrong, but this feels way too overpowered. So I'm gonna have to put this it at the very back of A tier. Alright guys, that's the end for today's video. Tell me if my tier list is accurate at all in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe and like, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.